Yo, what up, my people? It's your boy Los. We are live from Conversations with Los, and we got a
Yeah,
special guest today. We got my co-host Los. What up, bro? I can't see
what's
you. I don't know
going
why you're
on?
hiding.
What's going? I'm
I
trying
only
to get
see
the
your.
whole thing. I'm trying to get the whole thing you know what I'm saying? The whole shebang. My brother who's
Okay,
he's with us always,
may
Angelo's
he rest in
ashes over
peace.
here. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
man.
hell yeah. So he's with us today. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But today we have a special guest, man. He's actually my cousin. Respect this guy, real knowledgeable guy as well. Humble, taught me a lot about my family's past, and you know, and had a chance to conversate with him in the past several times. So I have him on today. So Chepe, his name is Jose, but I'm gonna call him Chepe because that's how I always called him. But Chepe, thank you for being on, brother. How are you doing?
No, it's my pleasure. My pleasure for you guys having me. How are you guys doing?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Everything's good. Thank you
Oh
for
yeah?
coming on, man. Really appreciate it, man.
No, it's my
Yeah,
pleasure. I've been listening to a couple of your previous podcasts and very interesting. You got something really pretty nice going on.
hell yeah, man. I
Appreciate it,
appreciate you,
man.
bro.
Yeah.
We've been trying, man. I've had this conversation with Los about this podcast for a while
Hmm.
now, and one night we were talking, bro. We were just randomly talking. For our conversations be like 4 hours, 5 hours. We talk a lot,
Yeah.
but and one day it hit me, bro. I was drinking beer, man, and I'm in the back. I'm like, man, I'm gonna fucking start a podcast, you know. So I decided to do it, and I went created the logo. I do T-shirts, so
Okay.
it's easy for me to come up with a logo, and just the other stuff, man. To be honest with you, Chepe, I've been fucking figuring it out as I go.
Okay.
Um, and I've we've failed a lot, but at the same time, I feel happy where we currently at right now. But
Oh, that's good. That's good.
yeah, it's important with you. But what it's important, but it's where are you right now? Are you still in Florida?
Yes, I live in Florida. I am currently in South Florida, actually Fort
Okay,
Lauderdale.
Fort
So,
Lauderdale.
yeah, I've been here a few years now. Originally from New York. So,
Yes.
it's lived most of
Yeah.
my life in New York and bounced around. Now I ended up in Florida. But yeah, man, it's beautiful weather. You know, you know how it is. Beaches, nightlife, everything. It's beautiful here. It's all year round. It's probably the best time right now.
For some reason, I thought you
Weather's
was in
nice.
Miami.
No. When I currently moved to Florida in 2012, I was in Miami. Yes.
Okay.
Then when my wife and my daughter came, then we moved up to Fort Lauderdale, and we've been here
Miami's
since.
expensive, right?
Yes, yes. Right now, living in Miami is pretty tough.
Hmm.
For the medium income family, you're talking about between $4,000 and $6,000 rent for a two-two. So just
Dang.
with that, it's a lot for a lot of families right now.
Hell yeah, it's pricey as hell, bro.
How you guys doing up there in Atlanta?
Uh, well, I'm in Atlanta. Well, I'm in Georgia, but
Hmm.
Carlos is in New York. Atlanta's
Hmm.
Oh,
good,
you're in
man.
New York. Okay.
Yeah. I'm
Yes,
in
yeah.
Brentwood, Long Island.
My,
Well, right now I'm in Amityville, but Long Island, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
that's where you
Everything's
grew up too,
expensive, man.
Chepe.
New York's expensive.
Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah, no, it's how do I say this? It's been after COVID, I saw a huge change in Florida. Obviously, they didn't shut it down. They shut it down for maybe 2 weeks. And so everybody was looking for that escape, so not just New York, from a lot of states, they just ended up here in Florida. So we had an influx of
Mm.
about 3.5 million people in the past 3 years in Florida.
Wow.
Um, so that rose, skyrocket properties. The housing market got hot. Um, it's very hard to find a house right now because they're in demand and there's no houses out there. They're not being built fast enough. And especially after the
Wow.
laws that were passed for the labor workers, etc., with this governor did with the new law imposed for people, immigrants, that shifted all the constructions, and they just halted. Some are just slow, so that's what's driven the prices even more because it's just too much people here.
Wow. I feel like that's how it is I mean, same thing with Georgia, man. When I first moved here, it was it was starting to get heavily populated. A lot of people was moving south. Everybody's moving North
Hmm.
Carolina, Georgia, Florida. I know several people. A good friend of mine, Alex. Shout out to Alex. He moved to
Hmm.
Texas. I hear Texas is a good state too. But but yeah, I mean, I've been to Florida. I think I've only been to Panama City. I'm not really a Florida guy because I don't
Okay.
know, man. Like, you know, to be honest, maybe maybe I haven't visited like
Hmm.
the proper spots to go to and be like, hey, I want to be
Well, hey,
back.
listen, it depends. What about you, Carlos? You been to Florida?
Nah, well, I went to Florida a long, long time ago, just for a karate tournament I had when I was a kid. I went to Destin, Florida. But other
Hmm.
than that,
Nice.
that was yeah, it was a world championship. That was in '98 or '99 around that time. But that was the only time I
Okay.
ever visited Florida and stuff. I got cousins from Puerto Rico that are all living out there. Like a lot of my cousins are there. But
Okay.
I have, other than that, and I really didn't do it, do too much, but just be in the resort and go to a restaurant called Fuddpuckers that they had over there. I didn't even know.
Okay.
So that was like basically it. You know what I'm saying too? Like I didn't really get to enjoy it as an adult and shit like that. That was
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But I would definitely love to go visit. I mean, Florida's like my style. Warm weather all year long. But I would have to be either by the beach or by the lake. Because I'm a fisherman, so I have
yeah,
to be close by the water. That's the one thing I love about being in Long Island is being so close to the water. It doesn't take
Yeah, it's surrounded by
you know,
beach.
yeah,
The beaches.
it don't take too long to get to the ocean around here. So, that's one of the things
yeah.
that probably the only thing that I love about here is, but like when that's it, it's springtime thing. Summertime fishing slows down, but the spring,
Hmm.
it kicks up. Summertime slows down and the fall kicks up again, and winter is over. So it
Yeah,
sucks. I would like to be somewhere where even in the winter you can, if you wanted to go out, you could, enjoy the outdoors and stuff like that. But out here, once the winter comes, it's a wrap. You're staying
yeah,
inside, cabin
yeah.
fever. But yeah, man.
It's interesting because Carlos, you said lakes, and I've seen several TikToks about this. What do you guys have down there? Alligators or crocodiles or
Alligators.
both?
No,
Alligators.
alligators.
That's
Yes.
that's that's why
Crocodiles,
that's why I
saltwater.
won't fuck with those. All right, alligators. That's why I won't really. That's why I won't really fuck with Florida. I've always been.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, Chepe, have you came across an alligator?
Plenty of them. Plenty of them.
Ah, see,
Uh-uh.
damn.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen from 9 foot gators, 12 foot gators to three
Fuck
foot
that.
gators. And believe me, that when you get into the 8 and 9 feet, you're like, Jesus, what the hell? You know, like,
Yeah,
holy shit, what am I doing here?
yeah, it's
But
big.
yeah, there's a lot of them.
Damn.
Uh,
It was in the beginning. It was for me, it was a little hard to get used to, you could say, because not every day you wake up and you see a freaking gator in your backyard. You know,
okay.
so yeah, yeah. So that was a big, big thing for me. But all the rest, they have a lot of iguanas. They have a lot of, well, my country from El Salvador, they call them garrobos. You know,
Garrobos, yeah.
garrobos. They have a lot of those here on every tree.
I've ate those garrobos in soup before when I was younger. It's actually
Oh
good.
yeah, they're good. They're good.
What
That's actually a huge business here too.
really?
Yeah, I see now there's a lot of
Yes.
hunting of the iguanas. They're clearing them out because they're invasive species. So they open just basically open hunting season for them. Any way you want to kill them, you can kill them by seeing them getting bow and arrow, pellet guns, dogs, all types of crazy
Hmm.
stuff. But it's like the boars in Texas, since it's an invasive species. There's no hunting regulations
Uh,
on them. You just take as much as you want, and now people are chefing them up all types of fancy ways to get people more turned on to them. Which I mean, I wouldn't.
Correct.
I know I've never eaten an iguana, but it's something that
it's good.
if it was right here right in front of me right now, I would do it. Like because I know that for a fact,
It tastes
like
like
my
chicken.
ancestors, I believe it. I never tasted it, but I believe it tastes like chicken. I would think about it like how a lot of people down south eating squirrels, you know, because it's everywhere, right? So think about their pioneers. The pioneers, you know, the people, their great grandfathers that came over here when they were hunting for food. There was nothing but they called them tree chickens. So I say back in Puerto Rico, probably the
Mm,
Hmm.
same thing. The Tainos probably saw that, you know, there's not too much meat in PR. We don't got wild. Well, there's deers, but I think they're introduced. I don't think that they were, you know, native to the island. So, you know, you have to.
okay.
Everything can't be fish. So, like I said, if an iguana was in front of me right now, I would definitely smack that thing, man, with some hot sauce, maybe a little bit of lemon. Bah, yeah. Uh,
Well, well, that's what you said. It's what you said in one of the episodes that you were willing to try snake, right? Or did you say
oh
you
yeah.
tried it?
No, I
I
would.
mean,
No,
I
I never
wouldn't. I
tried
wouldn't.
snake, but I would try it. Like I would try it. Like I got my hunting license a little while ago. I took all the education stuff. I have yet to go out, but me and my son always talk about it. Like now that he's a little bit older, maybe next spring we could try to do something. You know, because he's
Yeah.
he's looking for he's excited now. You know, he's 6 years old and he's starting to hold conversations with me and remember things and stuff like that. So we always talk about when we do go decide to go hunting. You know, like and I just can't wait for that day, you know? Like, it just seems like a lot of
Yeah.
fun. I'm not the type of picky eater. Like, you know, as long as it's got
Yeah.
a little bit of adobo on it, a little bit of sazon, I'm taking it down, buddy. That's it, you know? That's it.
Some sofrito, you good.
Yeah. That's
It's
sofrito,
well,
right?
it's Chepe. It's interesting. I get to talk to you like this because I've been wanting to ask you a lot of questions. You know, hanging out with you and stuff. But you were really well spoken guy. Which you Spanish. You was born in El Salvador, right?
Yes, I was.
And what year did you when you came to the U.S. You went straight to New York?
Uh, I came through Miami originally, and I went after that. I went to New York. I
Okay.
landed in Long Island. Hmm. And I think I was about 8 years old when I got to Long Island.
What year was that? Do you remember the year?
Oof, 86, 87, 86,
Oh,
87.
86.
wow.
So
Yeah,
so how old are you now?
45.
Oh wow, that's a
Yeah,
blessing.
Hmm.
time
That's dope.
flies. Yeah.
Time fly,
Yeah,
huh?
no, it's
Yeah.
it's it's yeah, I felt like it was yesterday, and I still remember. So it's been a long journey for me, pretty much, because I've been to many different states,
Mm.
not just Atlanta. I used to live in California, so I lived in San
Oh wow.
Bernardino for a while. Yeah, about 4 years I
How
lived
long?
there.
Oh, you lived 4 years in California.
Hmm.
Wow. I mean, they say California is just as expensive as New York.
Yes, more actually. Hmm.
Hmm.
A
Yeah,
lot more.
it's on my bucket list to go to California. You know,
It's a beautiful place.
um,
It's a beautiful place.
yeah, a good buddy of mine, Ricardo. He's from there, and he's actually going December 3rd and told me let's go. But I kind of can't. But you know, but
Go to
yeah, I
Laguna
do want
Beach.
to
I
go
recommend it.
Laguna Beach.
Laguna
I want
Beach
to
is
try that. I
beautiful.
want to try that burger joint. What's it called? In and Out.
You're in
In and
California?
Out. Yeah, yeah. It's a famous
Oh,
burger
okay.
spot. I guess it's by the airport. A lot of tourists seem to go there, and they
Yeah.
say the burgers is really good.
No,
But
they
yeah,
got a
it's my
lot of hot
goal.
spots over there.
What about New York? Do you travel? Do you travel back to New York at
I
all?
do. Excuse me?
Do you travel to New York?
I do travel to New York. Um, Not as much as I used to. The last
Okay.
time I was in New York was in 2021, right
Oh
after
wow.
the pandemic, right after they opened up slowly. I went up to I stayed around 46th Street. Um,
Okay.
it was a small hotel that I got, and it was a big change. My wife and I, we said, listen, I think, we were kind of like in the beginning when we first got there, we were like, I don't know if we made the right choice because it was just so different, you know,
Now, when you said
Hmm.
you didn't make the right choice, what does that mean? Did you move? Were you
because
intending to move back, or just on
no,
vacation?
no, I wasn't, no, it was just vacation, but,
Oh, okay.
to have a good time, it wasn't the
Time.
proper time or the proper
Okay.
place. because
all right.
number one, the homeless issue after COVID, all the restaurants, the food, the garbage, everything in the streets. So I was like, Jesus Christ, I was like, all right, whatever. I was used to it in certain parts of the Bronx, but
Okay.
not in 46th Street on West 46, when people are trying to go to a Broadway show and you got all this crap all over the street. You know what I mean? There
Yeah.
was, certain areas in Manhattan. I lived in Manhattan a lot of years also, so you know, it was I was pretty familiar with the city. So everything was a shock
Okay.
to me when I found it the way it is.
Mm.
Yeah. Hmm.
Damn. Well, that's crazy. I don't. When I go to New York, I don't really stay in the city. I go back to Long Island. Um, I stay with my
Yeah,
mother-in-law and visit my mom. Your mom is still in New York, right?
yes, Long
Okay. So
Island.
is your brother. How's your
She
brother doing?
actually, you know what? My brother is I wish I could say good. I've spoken to him
Oh,
a few times. He's still doing what he's doing. You know,
oh wow.
addiction is a very tough thing to deal with. You know,
Yeah.
he's been in and out of rehab. We've been trying to help him. We've been,
Yeah.
it's hasn't been easy. Hasn't been easy. So, I speak up openly about it because a lot of people don't have uh, the idea or how it's easy to point and judge and see a person, but there
Mm-hmm. That's
was
right.
a root to the problem of how they got to where they are, you know, because
Yeah.
he was never like that.
Oh
He
yeah.
was good in school, played soccer. He was awesome, and bro, like overnight, years later, it's just downhill.
Wow.
Cause he suffered a real bad accident, right? He was ran over by a
Correct. He
car
did.
when he was
He did. He did. Right after
so
the
you.
accident, it was pretty tough, trying to get him back because he suffered hemorrhage. His brain was affected a lot. He couldn't concentrate much. He started taking medication. So that took a toll on him. So plus,
Wow.
my story with, the everything or my background of where I come from as far as our family and actually my family, I'm sorry. And that
What do
took
you
a
mean?
toll
What do you
also.
mean? What do you mean? Like, you, is there like addiction problems in your families that stem from that?
Yes, there was on his father's side.
Okay.
Yeah, not on my mother's side. It's on his father's side.
Yeah, because your
You
mother's
know,
side is from our
correct,
family side.
correct.
We just have a bunch of
Be-
alcoholics.
We spoke about
But
this one time too. We spoke about this one time too, and when we talked about
Mhm.
generational curses,
yes,
that
yeah.
this thing a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times this thing addiction or like I truly believe that it's a disease, like and it has to be seen like that. A lot of people they don't want to talk about it with their families, like it's a stigma to stay away from it, not to really, but
Correct.
it's something like you said, you said that he it's like an overnight thing, right? Like he wasn't like that. He was smart in school. He played soccer, so you have to
Hmm.
remember the person that he was back then, that's still him, you know it's just that
Yeah,
this thing, it's a monster, it's a demon that grabs hold, and it takes a lot of love, a lot of patience, and sometimes, man, who knows what the formula is, but I know that, man, just turning your back on someone who has an addiction is probably the worst thing you could do, because you never know
that's the
if they're
worst
gonna
thing you
come
could
out of it.
do. Yes,
Yeah, you never know they're gonna
yes.
come out of it, especially nowadays with how it is, with the fentanyl, with the
Hmm.
whatever,
Yeah.
like one use and they could be gone, and so, I say to the people out there who have anybody who's addicted on drugs, and that you've been shying away from confronting, man, like, don't give up. Like, I know that it's a lot of people. It shouldn't take so much of a toll on the family, but it does. It is. Like it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but if you love them, if you care about them, then you just can't stop fighting.
Yeah.
Because
You
you
be
never
there for
know if
them.
tomorrow you get that call and he's
Yeah.
gone. You know what I'm saying? Because I never thought that would happen to me and my family, and it just took a
Correct.
one-time use, a recreational thing, and now I'm down a brother, so you never
Hmm.
know what could happen, from things, like, so when it comes to your brother, that's your bro, that's your blood. Like you fight with him alongside of him, as like, just like how if you were to fight somebody in the streets, you gotta understand that this is a demon. So it takes a lot of prayer, and it takes a lot of work from maybe sometimes even outside the family, a professional, because maybe we don't have the
Right.
tools, maybe it's got to take somebody else. Like there's something that happened. So a lot of people, I mean, there is a percentage of people, right, that just do it, and they had everything in their life, everything was perfect, there was no reason for them to do it, but they still did it anyways. And there's a big percentage that went through some type of trauma, went through something, you know, and it affected them in some way that they had to escape. They didn't deal with it the way they were supposed to. Us as men, we don't take our mental health serious like that, especially from the older
Hmm.
generations, like I think even my generation now, like I'm 38, right? I'm not too young, I'm not too old, but I'm starting to, to learn more about it and to, to take it more serious. But, I mean, I can see, like, I couldn't even imagine my grandfather even saying anything to extent like, oh, like, I had PTSD or from a situation or from whatever, like they just held it in,
Hmm.
and men have a lot of pressure, but we're under so much pressure to provide, to to
Yeah.
to do everything that we have to do, and sometimes there's a lot of
To
pressure on it,
provide, to survive. Yeah, man.
to
Yeah.
everything, man, to everything.
Yeah, no, it's the most important thing is understanding addiction. That's why I said it's a subject that a lot of people do not understand because
Yeah.
Mm.
I've dealt with it not only with him, you know. I mean, we could get addicted to anything, to eating, to going to the gym, to steroid use, to you name it, I mean, we create these habits,
Mm.
unconsciously. And, when I said I don't know where it went wrong, I could have an idea, but that's when I said it's very hard for people to understand addiction because we on an everyday basis, we get addicted to the simplest thing, you know? It could be coffee,
Yeah.
it could be
Yeah,
cigarettes, it
Correct.
could be anything, you know?
yeah,
So
yeah.
so
Yeah.
to put that into perspective, that's pretty much how I see it. But
We're a creature of habits,
you know,
man. We are creatures of habits, creatures of habits, bro.
yeah,
That's a fact.
Yeah, that's why
Whatever it
that's why it's
is.
important to build good habits, man. It's really important. You know,
Mm.
it's very
and
important,
just
yes, and I agree with that because that was the way that I was able to change my life around when I got to Florida. I got to Florida with just my clothes pretty much. And,
I remember when you
I
left.
yeah,
I remember when you left because you
yeah,
were in Long Island. We was hanging out like all the time. Sebastian was just born,
yeah.
and we go to Applebee's over there on Motor Parkway and
Hmm.
watch the NBA. I wasn't into basketball, but we would have beers and conversate, and you give me a lot of knowledge of the history of our family. That I've questioned a lot of things of our family, and I don't know if
Correct.
you I don't know if you had a chance to check out that episode, Generational Curses. Did you?
I didn't, but I will.
Yeah, you would like that. You would like that because one of the first time I heard that word, or one of the you I think it was the second time I heard that word, generational curses. I heard it from you,
Hmm.
and I was like, like what is that? I was like, look, and then you started explaining things in our family that I was like, oh, okay,
Hmm.
because I've always questioned things, and now that I'm getting older, and and I've had this podcast, I'm like doing a lot of like research, and I want to have like what I'm saying, I want to learn about El Salvador. I want to learn about my
Hmm.
roots. I want to learn about our family, saying how it was back in the day, And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like at times our old generation families, they don't want to talk about that. I don't know
Well,
why, you know.
it's not that they don't want to talk about it. It's because there's two ways of thinking when it goes back 30 years ago. Some people, for example, in the experience of I could say my mom, you know, my
Mhm,
mother, um, certain things that she did that we as a family hold it against her.
mhm,
There's two ways. There's two types of people back then. They didn't know any better and they didn't have the education. Okay. They did it the best way they thought it was right for them in
Yeah.
that moment. Okay. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, that's true.
That becomes a
Hmm.
bad habit. In their minds, they're doing it the right way because that's the only way they know, unfortunately. And that's where everything is born and gets passed on. It could be the worst thing you saw. For example, grab somebody and start whooping their butts with a belt until they, you know what I mean? Because that's the way they thought that it was the right way to do things, you know? So going back to things that she did, and I question her about it now that I'm older, right? And talk to her. And it's interesting. I've always had that concept, and she nailed it because she said, I just didn't know any better.
Mm,
You get what I'm saying? Now she's
yeah.
57 now, and she's like, I just didn't know any better. I'm sorry, just
She,
60, I'm sorry,
oh, I was
64,
about to,
64,
yeah.
65. I'm about to
My mind
say,
started.
geez.
I started to do the math. I was like, wait, what?
No. I think she's like 65. So, and and she said to me, listen, I just didn't know any better.
Yeah, I get it.
And it's hard for somebody that old to admit to something that harsh and say, you know what? It's hard to see somebody break down at that age. So
But I
that's
bet
when
it's, I bet it's good though, because on your behalf to be able to see that and for her
yeah,
to be
because
able
you
to
understand
express
of
that.
why things happen,
Yeah.
you know. So, and then you got the other part that that's the other side of the sword that I say we are all born knowing what's good from wrong. Do you know it's wrong to hit someone? Okay.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know it's good to encourage somebody. You know it's wrong to do something to someone knowing you're going to cause them pain. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a common sense that we bring from a young age, from a child. If you hit a child or a child hits another child, they come 5 minutes later, they start hugging each other because that's human nature. That's the innocence. We know right from wrong. There's people that have that
Mm,
Wow.
knowledge and they still do the wrong. You get what I'm saying? They still
yeah.
choose to do the
Hmm.
wrong.
Yeah.
Even these are common sense things, you know what I mean? That's why certain things I don't fly, you know? And I'll give you the
Hmm.
best example. What's going on in Israel. We know what's right from wrong, okay?
Talk about it.
We just we're just looking the other way. But we know what's right from wrong. We know that what's
All
happening
right.
is wrong. Hmm.
Now that we on the meat and potatoes of the topic, right? Let me ask you. All right. So we had gotten now, like what Carlos said about this podcast. Like this is something that we take as a crusade of, it's like, it's to me, I see it as a crusade, like it's something that we feel we want to try to shed light, and we, on topics that people may not always talk about or know things about, right? And also too, we're
Hmm.
learning as we go too, because as we go on these topics, we do a lot of studying. We don't just go and just boom, right? Like, we talk about it. No, like the whole week we're preparing. We're calling each other back and forth.
Hmm.
Hey, I read this, I read that, blah blah. We're comparing notes,
Hmm.
and then we come
Hmm.
on, on a day and we do it. So, it was, I mean, I got a little message, saying that you wanted to you was gonna come on, but that, the message was like saying that, as far as like that basically that we were misrepresenting in some type of way. So
Well,
I'm
hold on. Let me cut you off
mm,
there, Los. Is it okay? Is it okay, Chep, if I read what you wrote so the listeners could
Sure,
hear?
of course. Yeah, I
You
wrote it
know,
was misleading
yeah.
because of
hold on.
the God thing. Hmm.
Let me
Oh,
all right. Let me do it. All right. Here you go. So can you guys
yeah.
see it? You guys see?
Yeah, that's it.
So
Yes.
Saturday, you messaged me, and I didn't take this in a bad way. I promise you. I was actually
Nah, we
first
don't
thing that
take it
came to
as a
my
bad
mind
way.
when I read it, I was like, yes, I got another episode to do. But if you guys see on screen, it said just listen to episode 9 on Spotify of your podcast.
Hmm.
Thank you, by the way, for doing that. There's some
Yeah,
things that you
thank you.
guys
Welcome.
spoke about that were
I
actually
appreciate
not
it.
accurate and misleading on the view of the Israel conflict. God does not want these things to play out the way they are. recreated the narrative through free will. So hold on, let me stop sharing. All right. What do
What
you
do I
feel
mean
like?
by that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Okay,
know.
okay. Very simple. When it comes to these type of issues, right? I try to keep the narrative as neutral as possible and keep religion out of it because you got to remember something. There's many wars that have been started for a reason. There's many wars, conflicts, right? That other countries get in it for interest. Okay, Ukraine is an example. El Salvador is an example in the 80s. Nicaragua is an example, and the list goes on. Okay, I had to get that out of the way so I can compare this conflict. To
Mm.
me, this is obviously it's a bigger conflict because it's at a massive scale because there's other nations that are involved. Okay, that's why I wrote what I wrote, that we create we created the war. We fund wars. Okay,
Now, when you say
and
we, what does it mean? U.S.
you might agree with that. We fund wars. I'll give you a very little example. From 1979 to 1990, okay, United States funded the Civil War for El Salvador for 10 years. I lost track of how much money they funded, but I think it was close to $1 million per every 3 days for 10 years. $1 million.
Fuck.
Or it was a week or every 3 days just to keep that war going. And let me ask you a question, Carlos. You might not know
Yeah.
much about El Salvador, but if you Google it, right?
Mm.
What good did it bring to the country, and how did it end in 1991 when they signed the peace agreements?
I
Well,
don't
it
know.
didn't
I don't
bring
know
any
how
good
it.
to the
The
country.
gangs
Yeah.
were born. The
Yeah.
peace
I don't know.
agreement
I don't know
was
how it
signed.
ended. Uh-oh. He's gone.
Excuse me?
Oh, your
No, no.
your
Can you
your
hear me?
your your video went off.
Yeah.
Yeah, your video went off. We could hear you, but your video went off.
No, no, you go. You can keep going. You go.
Yeah, just I mean,
Okay.
you keep on going if you
So,
want to. Yeah.
so, 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 very
Or
short,
either of
right?
you.
91, they signed peace
Yeah.
agreements. So what happened with that is they leave the aftermath. Now this is the aftermath of the war. They said, okay, we're done here, right? We're done funding it. We leave. They leave us with a bag of shit, pretty much. The country's destroyed. Now, let me ask you a question. What are all those people that were getting funded? What are they going to do now? They don't know anything else. They've been fighting for 10 years. So you get this problem of las maras, the gangs, and all that. Okay, that happens. Now, I have to say
But
that
that
before
happens.
I
But that
move on.
happens. That happens after the Civil War.
After the Civil War, correct.
You're talking
That's
about
your
the aftermath.
conflict
Okay.
after the Civil War. That's your aftermath.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
In Iraq, the same thing. What was the aftermath? They grabbed
ISIS.
all those troops out, ISIS. So these militant groups are born out of all these conflicts. So many of them. There's so many of them. From Hezbollah, Hamas, ISIS, this. In Afghanistan, there's like
Uh,
5 of them.
Uh,
So what I'm trying to explain is we created all this. This had a root, you know, and it led to the Israel and Hamas problem. Okay. Now, when I heard that you said that maybe that's the way God wanted it, I've heard that a lot in the internet. Not just you guys. I've heard that before, that comment. But I said to myself, you know what? This is not what God wanted. I don't think
mm,
God is going to want a nation to bomb the living shit out of another nation and kill. Think counting 13,000 Palestinians so far, okay, to 1,400 Israeli. So there's an issue there. You know what I mean? Now,
okay.
this is not the way it was supposed to be. These are the decisions that governments are making. Do you get what I'm saying? Now, there's a big scenario behind this, behind these decisions. Power. There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of money in war. I'm in the stock market. Stocks are going through the roof. Bullets, armory, guns, collateral. I mean, you name it, bro. That's the hottest thing.
Hmm.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think the
Of
market is
course.
pumping right now?
I believe
What do you
anything and
mean?
everything war material. Anything and everything war material. Maybe
It's
Okay.
pumping.
bandages, whatever.
It's pumping.
Anything that has to do with war. Of course, we all know that,
It's a
war. I
money
mean,
machine.
World War II, made America, the great industrial nation that it was. You know what I'm saying to you? Because of World War II, it was pumping
Mm-hmm.
out just straight tanks and everything that it was doing. This is why Germany couldn't keep up with World War II. You know what I'm saying? Because they put an embargo. They actually put blockades on materials getting to Germany, so they couldn't manufacture. They couldn't keep up with the big German war machine. I
Mm-hmm.
understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, definitely. Like, but see, it depends on how you see things in life too. You know what I mean? I see it as
Mm-hmm.
from prophecy, from the Bible. From when I
Mm-hmm.
read with my eyes, from the beginning of time, when Abraham was promised the land that he was promised, which is Canaan,
Mm-hmm.
which turned to
Mm-hmm.
Palestine, which turned to Israel. You know what I'm saying to you? So,
Correct. Correct.
it
Yeah.
was it
I'm
was it
familiar
was
with the story.
promised to him. Yeah, I understand. So I see it as that way. I see it as the way as the prophecies, everything being fulfilled, as the Jews coming back home
Correct.
to their homeland, as everyone coming against them, everyone hating the Jews, as we see today. Um, but you said something too. You said,
Which
like, something
also
about.
is not which also is not
Hey,
fair, because to one nation to see another nation that way, you know,
Oh
it
yeah,
isn't
I
fair.
don't.
I understand.
I don't.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think it's pretty gross because I don't hate anybody that much. I don't sit here and say,
Hmm.
yo, death to whoever, whatever país, whatever country, like,
Yeah,
no, bro,
no,
like,
no, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't see nobody. But these people,
Hmm.
it's getting to the point where, how can we tell these people, what they're doing is wrong, right? When, they let me tell you something. If the Palestinians
Hmm.
before, let's say 6 years ago, if they were having so much of a
Hmm.
beef where they were at, right? Then maybe they should have started protesting 6 years ago. Hey, let's get these Palestinians out of here so they can go back to their brothers in their brotherhood lands in Syria and Jordan and Lebanon and Egypt, wherever. Let's get them out of there while there was peace, right? No, but like, see, too. Let me tell you something. Those people, they don't want to go back to the Muslim countries and the Muslim worlds because they had it good in Israel. A woman could dress
Hmm.
how they want to dress. They probably got the best doctors, best schools, things like that, right? Electricity, whatever, right? Case may be. Sometimes you have racism in both sides because you do have Zionists that are straight, like, so the Zionists are like super Jews. Like, we gotta, but look at everything they've gone through in history. Like, I'm seeing it from someone who's just been watching, right? And like and learning everything from history, like everything they've gone through history, man. Like, they've always go through something where their people almost either get exterminated or they've been taken off
Hmm.
their land and been put back on their land. Like, and then you go sneak across the border and you do what you do. This is a kind of, if me as a warrior, as a man, I'm not bringing a fight to a woman or to a child. I'm bringing a fight to the man.
Hmm.
I would have respected it
man.
more if they would have if they
Right.
would have jumped over right into a military base and gunned it out with some straight proper commandos. And then if that, I say, hey, well, also, no, too, hiding. You're
But
hiding. You're hiding under places where there's civilians up top. But it's like they wanted
correct.
this thing to happen. They wanted this thing to happen the way it is. Hamas wanted it because they know that it's the only way that their agenda. Because in all, like you're saying, their religion, is right. This our religion is right. So,
Correct.
like, they're
Correct.
saying
But
that, huh?
that's
Hey
why
guys, keep it running. I'm gonna use the restroom. Keep it running. We're good.
I leave the religion out
Yeah.
of the politics, because The religion is something that I'm very careful with
Mm.
because it's people's beliefs, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Yep.
politics is more something that I can dissect. For example, I'm going to ask you an important question.
Mm.
What's your view on the on genocide, for example? What's your view on what makes it genocidal at this
Well,
point?
a genocide is when you're just trying to
What's your
wipe
view on
off
that?
a population. I mean, as
Hmm.
my view, like if it's right or if it's wrong, I mean, of course it's wrong because I mean, you're killing our kids. I'm not saying what's happening is not wrong. I'm not saying that a bomb,
Hmm.
that even their decision, right? The decision for them, right?
Hmm.
Even though they came. Let's say right now, put it in my shoes. I was sitting here in my house, and somebody came and they killed my son, right? God forbid, right? Could I
Hmm.
take myself, right, to know that the same dude that killed my son is there with his son? Can I go over and easily throw a cocktail bomb and kill the dude that killed my son and kill his son? No, I can't. I can't force myself. I can't come to that. I can't come to that decision. I can't. And the whole thing of genocide. I mean, it is a bad. It's gonna be, and it's gonna get even worse. It's definitely fucked up. I don't want to see no kids
Hmm.
suffer, especially innocent kids. But you know what I saw, man? You know what I saw, that you said something before in the beginning. You said when a kid can hit each other and they will hug each other right after, right? But
Correct.
look how
Yeah.
look how deep rooted this thing is even into the children, right? That there was
Correct.
a Jewish kid in Gaza, right? And there was Palestinian kids around him hitting him with sticks, telling him to cry for
Yeah.
his
That
mama.
that
Say
was.
say Nima, say Nima. And I thought about, could I see my son doing
Yeah.
that? Like, no. But this is what they're teaching to their kids. And these people know this. They know this. They tried. They tried to appease the world for many years. All right, we'll make the West Bank neutral. Everybody could, this is a place where every religion can go and practice and go and visit the wall or whatever case may be. They've done it like that. But we're just hearing about this. We don't hear about the hundreds and hundreds of times that maybe two or three people got killed because a couple Hamas fighters came through a tunnel, dropped a bomb, or a couple PLO members blew up a plane, and and knowing that half the passengers on the plane were just all Jews, or when they go,
Hmm.
and that's even straight up after the Holocaust. So when a people go through something like this, when they have that trauma, and they know that they know for a fact that these people, they won't there's no meeting in between. They just want them gone. They want them gone. And we're saying that it's not biblical. It's not
Okay.
religious
But
to
listen.
us. But
But I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you off. But
no,
look,
no,
now
yeah,
you
just
say
yeah,
they
just
want
just
them.
real, just real quick. The last two sentences. We're saying that it's not religious to us, right? But it is religious to them. You know what I'm saying to you? These Jews,
Right.
I mean, look at the IDF. You see them with the Torah doing their tefillin, doing their prayers, praying to God and giving praise for their Mashiach who they're waiting for to come, and all this stuff. So everything is to God to them. Like
Correct.
I
Hmm.
mean, you probably have a small percentage that doesn't have crap to do with anything. You probably do. But the big percentage, they are practicing, believing Jews. And you have another religion, practicing, breathing Islamic religion, with Hamas. So yeah, it does get into some stickiness here. You know what I'm saying to you? But all in all, man, like
Now,
you
this
jump
is
over. Yep. Go ahead, bro.
correct. You're right about that. I'm not going to push back on the religion stuff because obviously that's their beliefs. That's the way they
Mhm.
feel. That's the way they push their agenda. Okay. On another note, um, my main concern is in the the politics as far as, for example, what Hamas did was horrible all over the
No, yeah.
world, and I understand it. But when Hamas did what Hamas did, when they attacked those people, right? Going back to your point, obviously they don't like him. Obviously, they want to wipe him out. When they attacked, they went after, I think it was 45% of militants, because a lot of military died also when they attacked the 1,400 people. It was about 56% and 40-something% in military. Okay. They don't air that out too much. Right now, because they said we're going after Israel's military. Okay, fine. You want to do that, start a war? Go ahead. My point is this. Okay, we're going to go after Hamas and their military. We're going to finish them. We're going to do this. We're going to do that, because a lot of innocent people, obviously, they're being shielded. They use those people as shields. Now, the problem I have with this is the tactics behind the offense that Israel is putting into Gaza are catastrophic, in the sense of to kill 2 Hamas militants. Okay, almost 75 Palestinians have to lose their lives. That's where I have the issue. You know what I mean? It's a 76 to 86% ratio to 20% Hamas. Ask yourself why. Hamas is what? 40, 50,000 militants. Hezbollah is what? 150,000? It's 3 times the amount. Okay. Why don't they go after Hezbollah? That's what they have to worry about.
Well, because I think Hezbollah wasn't the ones that attacked Israel, though.
But its cells work together. If they think
Yeah,
they're going to stop Hamas,
Hezbollah definitely supplied Hamas with weapons, and they definitely helped them out. I know that eventually they will join the fight.
Well, they want to.
This is what they want. They want the world to see this. They want the world to do what they do. But like I said, I see it as more than what people are just seeing as a war. I see it as religion. I see it as that prophecies that are coming true. And no matter what, when God says that this is what's going to happen, when I read in my word, when I read my Bible and I see that this is what's going to happen at these end times, and I'm seeing it playing out, I know that there's nothing that's going to stop that. That's probably what, maybe I said it wrong. Maybe I said I'm not saying that God wants people to die, because this is not what he wants. But, it's the prophecies, who are us? We can't stop a prophecy. If God gave a command saying that this is how it's going to happen.
I'm going to answer what you're saying. In military tactics, even in this country, in the Marines, they have taught these guys, they've trained them when they went into Iraq and all that, and Afghanistan and everything. Even a friend that I had, he was a Marine, name was Henry. He was in the war he got a few deployments. I had this conversation with him one day too, but I barely remember bits and pieces, but it didn't come from him, but they almost shared the same view. He said, Jose, you can't kill someone that's not afraid to die. It's an ideology. You cannot kill somebody like that. That's what they don't understand. Okay? What they're creating right now is a monster. They're creating a huge monster. And they have to be careful, because that monster could come into U.S. soil.
I believe that monster's already here.
That's the issue.
I think they're already here, bro. To be honest with you,
something.
Unfortunately, yes.
Something funky.
Especially with this open border policy, man. I don't want to talk much about conspiracies, right? But usually, a lot of the stuff that happens, you see it in movies, man. I don't know if you guys seen that second part of Sicario. You guys seen that movie Sicario?
Yeah.
With the second part, look what happens. Suicide bombers blow themselves up at the border. They go into a convenience store, a grocery store. It's like, I think the war is already. I don't know. I hope not, but I think it's on the soil. I think they're on the soil now. And I hear several podcasts talking about it.
1 second, boys. Y'all keep on talking. Sorry.
Yeah,
because real quick, Carlos, because in 1991 you had Desert Storm.
What was Desert Storm?
It was the
war in Iraq.
It was the Kuwait.
It was the beginning war. The Kuwaiti war? With the
Kuwaiti Wars
Kuwaitis?
was 91. Iraq was when Bush went in for oil after 9/11.
Okay.
Mm,
Yeah, that's when he went into Iraq and they killed Saddam Hussein and all those people. And that for oil, pretty much. Okay. But from 91, when Bush Sr. began, brewed up to
mm-hmm,
9/11, that
mm,
started those militants. From
mm,
2011, happened Iraq, and all these cells started. Okay. The problem is, what's going to happen next? What are these guys might do? What's going to, bro, listen, people don't understand. This could brew up to another 9/11. That's what they don't comprehend. And they're not going to know when. They're really
well,
not.
it's man, what you said right now
Wait.
is powerful because what you said
Yeah, but
earlier, it's
this
like
this is what we've been trying.
not go
This is
lost,
the whole point. Huh? You hear me?
not yeah, now you
Uh,
Yeah.
go lost, you going.
no, real quick. It's just real quick. This is why we had that episode. You know what I'm saying? This is why. Because I'm trying to explain to the people, bro, that you think that this is bad. This is not. This is just the beginning. It's gonna get a lot
Hmm.
worse. It's gonna
It
you don't you
brews.
think right now the Jews are singing.
Hmm.
Mm,
All right, we're back. So right now they're on top, but it's gonna come to the point where they're not. It's gonna come to the point where they're getting their ass kicked, and we're gonna say, "Holy shit, they getting theirs right now." Because this is
Hmm.
what
mm,
this is what I mean, it's nothing new to me because it's saying it in the prophecies. This was gonna
But you got to
happen.
understand
You
something
know,
that these, the destabilization of Israel will will bring will bring a new beginning for new powers in the Middle East.
of
This is not
course.
about, to myself, it's not about so much the religion because the bigger governments are looking at it as an opportunity. Israel's not in the picture. Other nations are going to get into power. They're going to be big because
Well, God
Israel is
promised.
a big. Mhm.
If you believe in God, if you don't, it depends, right? Because I know I believe in the
oh
Word of
well,
God.
can we? I mean, can I ask that, Shepard?
Yeah.
Do you believe in
Excuse me.
God, or are you a religious man? What's your belief?
I'm not religious, but I do
Okay,
believe in God.
Okay.
okay, all right,
Yes, I do.
all right. So I see
But
why
I'm
you
not
made that
religious.
statement. God doesn't
Mhm.
want for things to play out the way they did. You know, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I'm assuming that's
because
what.
I read a book one day que se llama A mi Dios no me dijo nada. That's the name of the book.
Mm,
God didn't say nothing to me. Es de unos palestinos.
Wow.
Y ahí describe mucho de esa
Palestinos,
guerra.
really,
Ujú. It's
really.
about
What's that book
all
called?
that conflict. A mi Dios no me dijo nada se llama.
A mi Dios
Lo
no me dijo nada.
escribió, sí, así se llama el libro.
Wow.
Describe el conflicto que está pasando ahorita. That book was written in 1970, around 70 to 77. It was written. It's an old book, and it
Um,
Yeah.
explains a lot of those views and problems that they have. And in the portal of the book, there's a big Israeli tank, y hay un palestino, un niño con una piedra.
Mm.
hmm.
That's the portal. You know, hey, it's interesting book actually.
Yeah, I gotta check it out. Is it? I mean, you say you said the title in
It
Spanish. I'm
explains a
assuming
lot
it's in
of
Spanish.
how tienen español. I'm sorry, they have Spanish and they have English.
Okay.
Hmm. But
Yeah, I gotta check
guys,
out that
listen,
book for sure.
I I I have to run. I have maybe another like 5-10 minutes.
Nah, you good.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
and real quick, are you guys into the market? Are you guys into crypto?
Nah,
Mm,
I don't.
don't know too much
Nah.
about
No.
it. Don't know too
Yeah, I
much
don't know.
about
Yeah,
it.
I don't know nothing about it. But
But
if you
it's
want to
something
spill
that
Okay.
some
yeah, if you
knowledge,
definitely want to drop
go ahead.
have an episode where you help us out, spend some, some of that knowledge you got about that. I'm definitely getting to learn about that. You know, I know a
Yeah,
little bit about
Oh
day
yeah,
trading. I
yeah.
took like a class for like a week about day trading. You know, I don't know if it's similar. You know, recognizing charts and double tops and
It's very
when the
similar.
stock is
It's
making
very
very
similar.
similar.
Hmm.
So I know the basic. That's it. Like recognizing the
Yeah.
charts, the pattern of the charts. Double tops is really
Hmm.
whoa, it's popping. You know what I'm saying? But as far as investing and everything like that, that'd be awesome to have an episode like
yeah,
that too.
Hmm.
yeah. It'll be fire. Yeah, for
Just
sure.
keep it in mind. Keep it in mind that a lot of these militants, a lot of these conflicts in the Middle East use that type of currency to flow a tremendous amount of funds. Just keep
Hmm.
that into perspective. Why?
Wow.
Because those wallets are extremely difficult to, they say, follow the money. Yeah, you can follow the transaction and the wallet or whatever, dead wallets, hot wallets, cold storage. You can follow whatever you want. You don't know who owns them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Who do you think
yeah,
owns Bitcoin? Let me ask you that. Who do you think owns Bitcoin? Putin?
governments.
Hmm.
Governments?
Hmm.
Plural.
The largest cold storages in
Plural.
Switzerland
Huh.
hold billions of dollars in Bitcoin.
And what was I see the
Awesome.
president did that whole Bitcoin thing. What's the purpose behind
China
that?
actually has some of the massive wallets of Bitcoin.
Really?
China owns
Uh.
about 40% of Bitcoin,
Hmm.
and they don't
Yeah.
allow certain digital currencies in their states over there in their country in China. That's a whole different
Yeah, we
story.
we definitely gotta do an episode about
Yeah,
this.
definitely,
But
man.
Mhm.
I know you gotta run, man. But
Yeah, I
Chepe, thank
appreciate
you
you
Mhm.
for
coming
coming
on,
on.
man.
Oh, it's been my
Appreciate
For
you
real,
coming
pleasure,
man.
on.
guys. It's been my pleasure. Whenever
And
you
you're
guys
Yeah,
welcome to
man.
want,
come on.
yeah,
You're welcome to come
just hit
on
me up
anytime,
if you want to do something about crypto and everything, and you know, I'll bring everything I have and I'll explain
Okay, hell yeah. Yeah, yeah, man. I
how it
mean
works.
I would like to learn
Because
that. It's
remember,
interesting.
correct, every time to top it off with that, every time I ask someone, okay, you invest in crypto? Okay, here. I tell them, listen, besides a currency, this is a technology. You have to look at it as a technology. You can't look at it just
Yeah.
as a currency. You can do a lot of things with it. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a
we'll
pleasure.
definitely strategize. Thank you for coming on, Chef. I appreciate you, man. Big time.
Thank you. Hey,
Um,
Carlos, it's a pleasure, man.
Yeah, it's a pleasure meeting you, bro. Thank you for your feedback. It's always welcome. This is all we
yeah.
wanted to do, just because we take it so serious, man, that we wanted to know if
Correct.
we were making a
Correct.
mistake. Um,
No,
but
no,
we
no, no,
appreciate
no.
you, man.
And I apologize if I got the wrong message out or was
Nah, man, it's
No,
all
no, you
good, bro.
didn't, man.
This
You
was
didn't.
this was a good thing. Like this is what it should be about. Just being able to talk. Just being able
Conversate.
to talk,
Yeah.
have conversate, and hear every side. You know what I'm saying to you? Like it's not an issue to us, bro. Like anybody who feels like we're saying something, holler at us, man. And we talk about it, bro. That's
Hmm.
all it is, man.
Oh,
That's what we
my
need to
bad,
do
guys.
more.
My bad,
Okay.
guys.
It's so
I
good,
got
so
All
good.
right.
Chimo. I'm in the middle of
All right.
recording my podcast. Look, look. I got Chepe right
Moose,
there. My boy Carlos.
moose.
Hey, let me call you in 2 minutes.
Yeah, bro. All
All right.
right, brother.
All
But
right.
yes,
It's a
yo,
pleasure.
y'all all have a wonderful night. God bless you guys. This is
You too,
episode
bro.
number 13. Be safe,
Yeah.
Chepe. Got love for you, brother. I hope to see you soon. All right.
All right.
You
Later.
guys could leave whenever. You guys could leave whenever you're ready.
All right,
All
bro.
right.